Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, in this episode, we're going to break down the two biggest SEC games of the upcoming weekend, and we'll start with Ole Miss at Alabama. And our first question here is, who is more likely to win the Heisman, Bryce Young or Matt Corral?
I got to say Bryce Young. I believe Matt Corral is better at this moment, and depending on where you look, he's actually the slight favorite. But as you know, it's not always the best player, more often kind of the best player on one of the top teams. And since we're recording this before the Bama-Ole Miss game, I'm going to take the quarterback that's a 2-touchdown favorite, and I'm a little bit more confident in Bama in the national title race, so that's why I went Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean, both of their statistics are going to be fantastic when the year finishes, right? They're both going to have insane numbers, but who has the better team, who has the most wins, will probably get the edge. And Trey's right. Bryce Young is more likely to be that guy. I mean, Ole Miss could go to Bama and win this week, and if they do, then Corral's like heavy favorite. But at this point, I think you have to take Bryce Young.
I have the exact same rationale as you guys, so I would say Young. Okay, but how about who's going to cover the spread in this game? So Alabama is a 15-point favorite at home. What do you think, Brian?
It's always hard to go against Bama, but I kind of do it just because I want to see close games with Bama. I want to see interesting ones. Didn't pan out for me against Miami. No, not so much. This one, I'm still going with Ole Miss, though. I got to do it. Their offense is so good, and we've seen improvement from their D. They've been super impressive so far. They've just demolished teams, solid teams like Tulane, a solid team they just whooped up on. Louisville completely dominated. So, Bama is a different beast, no doubt about it. But I think they can move the ball. They moved it very well on them last year. And they're not going to be scared. So I'll say Ole Miss, even if it's a backdoor cover, which Michael loves. I'll take the Rebels.
Yeah, I'm same thing here. Florida was able to have at least a decent amount of success against this Alabama defense, and I think Ole Miss's offense is much better. Ole Miss might have the best offense in the country. I mean, of course, Alabama, the team they're playing, is right in that race too. But I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up there. They've still got Jerrion Ealy at running back, who, of course, was in this game last year. And the receivers, I know they're without Elijah Moore and Kenny Yeboah, who had big games last year, but I think there's still plenty of talent out there. You got Drummond, Mingo, Sanders. So the difference this year is that, like you mentioned, I think Ole Miss's defense might be a little bit better. Of course, last year, the joke was the yards prevented in that game last year against Alabama. They prevented like 40 yards or something. Alabama got almost every single yard that they possibly could have gotten. Not sure it'll be quite that drastic this year, especially while Alabama's offense with Bryce Young and Jamison Williams and a loaded receiving core is still great. It's not like last year. It is not one of the best offenses ever. So yeah, I think, of course, I'd pick Bama to win, but I think Ole Miss can hang in there and get a cover.
I totally agree with what you guys are saying. I'm going to take the points as well with Ole Miss. Ryan, you touched on it. I don't think Ole Miss is scared, especially the way that they played against them last season. And Michael, I think you brought up the point about Florida having some sustained drives against Bama, and I think one of the reasons they did that was because of their tempo. And I think Ole Miss is as quick, if not quicker, than Florida. So I think they'll be able to help neutralize that solid Bama defense. And if you watched the Manning cast this past Monday Night Football, Nick Saban was talking about that, how doing that up tempo and no huddle can really offset a great defense. And the other thing is, Ole Miss is coming off of a bye, maybe not so crucial early on in the season, but it gives Lane Kiffin an extra week to kind of scheme up a few plays, and he'll be prepped for this. So I'm not saying Ole Miss is going to win, but I'll say they cover.
I wonder how much Ole Miss film and prep the Bama staff was doing with. Of course, they played Southern Miss last week, kind of a bye for Bama. I would be curious just to hear about that. Of course, maybe publicly they wouldn't admit that, but I wonder if there was some advanced prep going in there. You would think. You would think that would be the wise thing to do. Okay, well, let's move on to the other big SEC game of the weekend. We've got Arkansas at Georgia. Georgia's favored 18.5. This one is very tough for me. I don't know who to pick here. We know Georgia has a dominant defense, maybe the best defense in the country. That front seven is just otherworldly. And they're adding Tyke Smith, so that should help things in the secondary. So I don't see Arkansas doing much on offense, especially with KJ Jefferson and Treylon Burks both, I think they'll certainly both play, but maybe not quite 100%. So, I mean, I do see why this spread is so large with that questionable health there, and with Georgia getting some guys healthy, because Darnell Washington's going to be back on offense as well. But it seems maybe a little bit too big for me. We predicted these point spreads on Sunday morning. I thought the spread would be something like 16.5, because, I mean, Arkansas, they keep proving the skeptics wrong. Like, they just keep outperforming the number. That win against Texas looks better and better with the way Texas has been playing. So, I don't know. I like Georgia to win, but Arkansas to cover.
I can understand that rationale. It does seem like too many points, but I'm going to give them with Georgia. They've just been lights out. You touched on KJ Jefferson being a little hobbled, and even if he was 100% healthy, he's not the most consistent passer, which could be an issue against this nasty Bulldogs defense, and especially with West Virginia transfer Tyke Smith, like you said, getting into the fold. And I just think JT Daniels has got some weapons that he's relying on. Jermaine Burton, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington back this week, among others. So I like Georgia. I like this team.
Yeah, I agree with Trey, and I like Georgia a lot. This is one of my most confident picks this week. Listen, I like Arkansas. I do. As a team, they've had a great start to the year. I liked them when they played. I picked them against the spread versus Texas, against Texas A&M. But they're just coming. They're coming in. I think they're a little spent right now. I think they've had some games where they've put everything into it, and I think this is just the week where it kind of catches up to them against a team that's just clearly superior than they are right now. And I think those injuries are a huge factor. We saw against Texas A&M what happened when KJ Jefferson kind of got hobbled up. It just wasn't quite the same. I know they had a big lead, maybe changed up a little bit their strategy, but I just think it catches up to them this week. Georgia is just going to take advantage. I don't think Arkansas is going to be able to move the ball at all in this one, so I think it could end up being a big spread. But I think Arkansas will, even though I think they'll get kind of blown out in this one, I think they'll bounce back and still have a really good year. I just don't think this is a good time to play Georgia for them.
Okay, yeah, you guys made some good points there. Let us know in the comments your picks in both of these games, and thanks so much for watching this episode of the College Football Bros. Be sure to stay tuned to our feed. Be sure to subscribe, because we've got another video coming out where we break down Cincy and Notre Dame. So we'll see you then.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.